People across the country were heartbroken when the rapper known as Notorious Biggie died. Biggie Smalls was only 24 years old when he was killed. At the time, no one realized how much money he would leave behind. His music and brand were worth millions, and after his death, his family became rich almost overnight. But the most surprising part is what happened after he died. Biggie's fortune didn't stop growing, it got even bigger. Today, his family makes more money from his music each year than Biggie ever made when he was alive. His estate is now worth hundreds of millions, maybe even close to $1 billion. What started as a sad loss became the beginning of long-lasting wealth for his family. Biggie, whose real name was Christopher Wallace, had a tough start in life. He grew up in Brooklyn and sold drugs as a teenager to survive. But everything changed when he started rapping. His demo tape reached the right people, and music producer Sean "Puffy" Combs saw his potential. Biggie's first album, Ready to Die, came out in 1994 and changed hip-hop forever. Songs like Juicy and Big Papa became instant hits. Biggie started earning a lot from his music: albums, radio play, concerts, and more. He bought his mom a big house, expensive cars, and lived like a superstar. But he didn't know his time was running out. He also didn't know that his music would become even more valuable after he was gone. Biggie was building more than just money. He was building a legacy. His music rights, image, and brand became incredibly valuable. These things would become the base of a fortune that would keep growing for his family, even without him. On March 9, 1997, Biggie's life was tragically cut short. He was shot in a drive-by shooting in Los Angeles after leaving a party. He died just before his second album, Life After Death, was released. The news shocked the music world and left fans mourning. But behind the sadness, a big problem was waiting. Biggie had died without a will. Without a legal will. His family didn't know how his money and rights would be divided. This can cause long, expensive legal battles. His wife, singer Faith Evans, and his mother, Violetta Wallace, were left to figure everything out. Lawyers quickly got involved, and it looked like the estate could become a big mess. But then something amazing happened. Biggie's posthumous album, Life After Death, came out just weeks after he died. It was a huge success, debuting at #1 and selling more than 10 million copies. Suddenly, his estate started earning massive amounts of money, even though it wasn't fully settled yet. Even after all this time, Biggie's music still plays on the radio, gets streamed online, and appears in movies and ads. His name, his songs, and his story continue to make money for his family. What started with one young man chasing a dream in Brooklyn turned into one of the biggest legacies in music history. This was just the beginning of something much bigger. The fortune that would one day make Biggie's family very rich wasn't just about the albums he had already recorded. It was about how powerful and long-lasting his music and image would be. His songs and brand continued to make money, even long after he was gone. Right after Biggie passed away, a legal battle began. He had no will, which made things complicated. His mother, Violetta Wallace, stepped forward and became the legal administrator of his estate. But she wasn't the only one with rights. His wife, Faith Evans, also had a legal claim, as did their baby son, CJ. Biggie also had a daughter, Tiana, from an earlier relationship. Though she was just a child, she was also legally entitled to a share. Lawyers for each side started asking questions and making demands. At first, people thought Biggie's estate was only worth a few $1 million. He had some contracts, property, cars, and jewelry. But what no one realized was that they were sitting on a gold mine. Violetta Wallace made a smart move. Instead of just taking the quick cash, she worked to protect the rights to Biggie's music. She knew his songs would be played again and again, earning money every time someone listened. Whenever someone played Juicy on the radio, bought his album, or used his song in a movie, the estate would get paid. That decision changed everything. While other families fought and lost their stars' fortunes, Violetta made sure Biggie's legacy would last forever. She hired strong lawyers and business experts who knew how the music world worked. They helped her protect what was most important: Biggie's future earnings. It wasn't easy. They had to deal with confusing contracts, unpaid debts, and arguments over how the money should be divided. But Violetta stayed focused on the big picture. She knew her son's music would stay valuable for decades. Instead of fighting Faith Evans, she chose to work with her. Together, they built a united team that made smart decisions for Biggie's kids and legacy. That teamwork paid off in the years that followed. As the legal issues were handled, something amazing started happening. Biggie's music didn't fade away. It became even more popular. His second album, Life After Death, kept selling millions of copies. And his songs started showing up in movies, TV shows, commercials, and video games. Each time they were used, the estate got paid. Here's where it really gets interesting. Unlike other artists who sold their publishing rights for fast money, Biggie's estate kept everything. This meant that every time someone used his beats or lyrics, or even streamed his music online, the money went back to his family. As streaming platforms like Spotify and Apple Music grew, Biggie's songs reached millions of new listeners. Each play brought in a small payment, and those payments added up fast. Violetta also made great choices with merchandise. Biggie's image appeared on t-shirts, posters, and other items. Fans around the world wanted to own a piece of his legacy. The Notorious B.I.G. brand became more than music. It became a lifestyle. But one of the biggest sources of money came from something many people overlook: publishing rights. Hip-hop artists often use pieces of older songs in their new music. Biggie's tracks like Juicy and Big Papa were perfect for sampling. Every time another artist used his work, Biggie's estate got paid again. His music turned into a non-stop money-making machine, bringing in income every hour of the day. Faith Evans also played a major role in all of this. As Biggie's widow and the mother of one of his kids, she had a share in the estate. But she wasn't just waiting for money. She had a successful music career of her own. Still, her connection to Biggie gave her access to something very valuable: the rights to his unfinished songs. Together with Violetta, Faith made sure these unreleased tracks were handled the right way. They didn't rush them out for quick cash. Instead, they created new albums that honored Biggie's memory while still appealing to fans. In 1999, Born Again was released. It mixed Biggie's original vocals with new music from popular artists. Faith helped guide the project and made sure it stayed true to Biggie's style. The album was a big hit and brought in millions more for the estate. What started as a tragic loss became one of the most successful posthumous music legacies of all time. Thanks to smart planning, teamwork, and a deep love for Biggie's work, his music continues to earn money and inspire new generations, even decades after his death. But Faith Evans' real contribution wasn't just emotional, it was strategic. She deeply understood the music business. She knew how to negotiate licensing deals, work with record labels, and maximize the value of musical rights. Her knowledge helped the estate avoid the pitfalls that many families face when they inherit music catalogs without knowing how the industry works. After Biggie's death, Faith also received survivor benefits and life insurance payouts, giving her immediate financial stability. This allowed her to make patient, smart decisions instead of feeling pressured to sell off valuable rights for quick cash. Over time, she continued to benefit from her connection to Biggie's estate while also building her own successful R&B career. Faith recorded tribute songs, appeared in documentaries about Biggie's life, and remained a key public figure in preserving his legacy. Each of these efforts kept his name alive, and also brought in more income for the estate. The collaboration between Faith and the Wallace family became a model for how cooperation can grow wealth rather than destroy it through legal battles. They didn't always agree, but they shared a common goal: protecting and honoring Biggie's legacy. The children's inheritance and coming of age. Tiana and CJ were just kids when their father died, but as his direct heirs, they were always meant to inherit the largest share of Biggie's fortune. As they grew up, the true size of that inheritance became clearer. The estate, once valued in the low millions, had grown into an empire. During an interview they shared, "He left us everything. At the time, they were still too young to fully understand what that meant. But they would soon discover just how powerful and profitable their father's legacy had become. In 2015, when Tiana turned 22, she inherited a significant portion of the estate. By then, the value of Biggie's brand had skyrocketed. While the exact figure was kept private, industry insiders estimated the estate's value to be in the tens of millions of dollars. Tiana didn't just rely on passive income. She launched her own clothing brand, Notorious, named in honor of her father. It gave her a way to carry on his name while carving out her own identity and financial independence. The timing couldn't have been better. By 2015, streaming platforms were booming. Classic hip-hop was reaching younger generations through apps like Spotify, Apple Music, and YouTube. Biggie's music was not only still relevant, it was more influential than ever. Tiana inherited more than money. She inherited the rights to control how her father's image, music, and name were used. Powerful tools in the business world. A few years later, CJ also came of age and received his portion of the estate. His share had been kept in a trust that had grown significantly over the years. Inspired by Tiana, CJ invested in his own ventures but focused on different areas. Rather than taking over the music side of the business, CJ left that to his sister. He focused on entrepreneurship and built his own path. He co-founded Think Big, a cannabis and lifestyle brand, a nod to Biggie's well-known appreciation for marijuana. He also launched Frank White, a creative label tied to his father's persona. What made their story even more remarkable was how much the estate's value had grown over time. If Biggie had lived longer and spent recklessly, there might not have been much left. But because he died young and the estate had been managed with vision and discipline, his fortune continued to grow for decades. Streaming platforms like Spotify, Apple Music, and YouTube didn't just make Biggie's music easy to find, they turned it into a constant source of income. By 2020, his songs had been streamed billions of times across different platforms. Just the song Juicy had millions of plays on Spotify, and Big Papa had hundreds of millions more. Every single stream meant money going to Biggie's estate. His family was earning money while doing everyday things like eating, sleeping, or relaxing at home. But the real power of streaming was how it helped Biggie's music reach new listeners. People who weren't even born when he passed away were discovering his songs and becoming fans. This brought more attention to his music and helped the estate grow in value. Social media also played a huge role. Platforms like TikTok made his music part of viral trends. Every time someone used one of his songs in a video, the estate earned money. These short clips could create millions of new plays and bring in more income within just a few days. Streaming also made Biggie's music more desirable for movies, TV shows, and ads. Because so many people now listen to his music, companies were willing to pay more to use his songs. This meant each licensing deal became more valuable. And it didn't stop there. People around the world, who may not have had access to his music in the 1990s, could now listen instantly. His fan base expanded globally, increasing the estate's earnings far beyond anything that was possible during his lifetime. Experts said that just from streaming, the estate was making millions of dollars each year. And as more people discovered Biggie's music online, these numbers kept climbing. While people mostly paid attention to the music royalties, Biggie's estate was quietly growing in other ways too. They built a large business empire that made money from many sources, not just from songs. One big area was merchandise. The estate sold a wide range of Notorious B.I.G. products, clothing, accessories, and collectibles. His famous crown logo appeared on everything from high-end fashion items to coffee mugs and phone cases. The estate also made money by allowing Biggie's name and image to be used in video games, movies, and documentaries. For example, when the film Notorious was made about his life, the family received both upfront payments and a share of the money it made later. Every time someone watched the movie or a documentary about him, the estate earned something. Instead of spending all the money from music, the estate used it smartly. They bought real estate and invested in businesses, creating new ways to earn money that didn't depend on music sales. Big companies also paid a lot to use Biggie's image or music in their advertising, knowing that his legacy still carried a lot of cultural power. A single advertising deal could be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. The estate also handled unreleased music carefully. They didn't release everything at once. Instead, they slowly put out rare tracks and unreleased songs at the right time to get the most attention and money from them. This kept interest alive and created new revenue streams. By expanding their income sources and not relying only on music, the estate became more stable and profitable over time. Even if something changed in the music industry, the family had other ways to keep earning money. When you add everything together, the amount of money Biggie left behind is truly surprising. By 2024, experts estimated his estate was worth between $50 million and $100 million. Even more incredible, that number is still growing every single day. This isn't like a regular inheritance that gets used up over time. Biggie's estate is a money-making machine that keeps working year after year. The estate now earns between $5 million and $10 million every year. That money comes from a mix of music royalties, streaming income, licensing deals, merchandise sales, and investments. In fact, Biggie's family now makes more money in a single year than he ever made in his entire life. While he may have earned a few $1,000,000 during his career, his estate now earns many times that amount annually. This amazing growth happened because the people managing the estate, including his mother Valletta and his wife Faith, made smart choices. They didn't rush to sell things for fast money. Instead, they focused on long-term value, keeping control of his rights and using them in ways that built lasting wealth. Thanks to their careful planning, they built something even bigger than a fortune. They built a business empire. Biggie didn't just leave his family money. He left them streaming rights so they get paid every time his music is played anywhere in the world. He left licensing rights that earn money whenever his songs are used in shows, commercials, or films. Most importantly, he left a legacy that new fans keep discovering, which keeps the wealth growing. Even 27 years after his death, he was shot in a drive-by shooting in Las Vegas in 1996 and died in the hospital days later. Biggie Smalls is still making his family extremely rich in ways he never could have dreamed of while he was alive.